The Z Fighters were helpless. Cell had now achieved her perfect form. And now, not only with a new change of identity, but with a new change in attitude, as from going forward, Cell will be referred as female. And that's primarily due to how Cell achieved her perfect form. But before leaving, Cell would create a single offspring, a familiar Cell Jr. Cell Jr., similar to how it is in the original timeline, would stand guard at the door to the hyperbolic time chamber. Yes, in this change of events, Cell would come to learn of the origins of the hyperbolic time chamber, and as such, would learn how the Z-Fighters had progressed in power as quickly as they did. Now, Cell was not going to deny them the opportunity to get stronger, but of course, she wanted first dibs. After all, it wouldn't be fair if they were to abuse this mystical room of time and space to allow them to get years worth of training in a single day, while Cell would only have but a few Earth days to become acclimated to her perfect form. She gave them 13 days, but she would be taking the first. That would leave them just 12 more to spare. And to make sure that the Z-Fighters didn't try anything funny, like blowing up the door to the room of spirit and time, or doing anything of those devious measures, she had the added bonus of leaving a Cell Jr. at the door, with the implicit instructions to only kill anyone who tried to get to the door. Of course, the Z-Fighters felt helpless. In the face of a bug-like petulant child who had more than enough power to kill all of them right then and there if it wanted to, they were left with little options. Trunks would be cursing himself. "I'm sorry, you guys. It's all my fault. I tried to stop him. I tried to stop all of this. And It's not your fault, Trunks," Chidai would say. "No one blames you. We already know what happened," Goku would say. "Even if we had tried to get involved, we wouldn't have been able to make a difference." "So what do we do now, Kakarot?" Radix would ask. "We can only give in to Cell's demands, and we can only hope that with the 12 days remaining, we can possibly get strong enough to win this fight. Because other than that, we don't have much of a choice." And so, for that day, Goku, Diana, and the other Z-Fighters would be doing damage control on a massive overhaul. It first started with them traveling the Capsule Corp, as Bulma and her father, Dr. Briefs, worked frantically on trying to save Victor's life, using the remaining parts of Android 16 to rebuild Victor's body, the ultimate cyborg. Goku would bring Bulma up to speed on everything that had happened, and while the news wasn't surprising, it was still disheartening. She was starting to wonder why she had even given Vegeta a chance, after all this time, for him to have done the things that he did, to raise his hand against their son, even if he was from the future, to act like a petulant child. It made her start to reconsider a lot of things. And if they survived all of this, their relationship was going to take on an entirely different beast. But for now, Bulma would help where she could, giving Goku the Dragon Radar, allowing for he and Diana to have an easier time finding the Dragon Balls. First, they got into contact with King Kai, who would point them in the direction of New Namek, as Goku and Diana would work together using instant transmission, taking along with them Chidai, Gohan, Chi-Chi, and Radix, and Trunks. Together, they would all make their way to Namek, well, New Namek to be specific, where the Namekians had finally started to settle down and were slowly starting to regrow their numbers after the ordeal with Namek the first time around. They were grateful to see the Z Fighters there, and while saddened to hear the news of those that had died, they wanted to help where they could. As such, they would allow for the Z Fighters to use the Namekian Dragon Balls. First, they would bring back Piccolo, along with Tien and then Krillin. Sure, they would be blowing all three wishes in one fell swoop, but now they had to focus on priority. Afterwards, just as in the original timeline, Goku would ask for one of the Namekians to return to be the new Guardian of Earth to allow them to restore their Dragon Balls. Dende, of course, would step up to the role, and just as in the original story, Dende would become the new Guardian of Earth. Once they returned, they would get to work on restoring the old Dragon Balls, and after a few days' time, they would be up and running. Of course, Piccolo wasn't too fond about hearing what happened with Cell. To know that his death was practically in vain, along with Krillin as well as Tien. The process of how they died was as unsettling than anything else. And, well, now that Cell had achieved its perfect form, she had achieved its perfect form, safe to say, things were only going to go from bad to worst. But everyone would wait in anticipation as the door to the hyperbolic time chamber would finally open. Perfect Cell would walk out. She tossed and twirled with her hair. She looked like she had been through extensive training and now had come out on the other side, a newly changed android. I must say, that room of spirit and time, it truly is nifty. That alone makes your planet worth sparing. So much I could achieve, but there is a limit to how long I can stay. Now to all of you, in 12 days' time, I will be hosting the Cell Games. While training, I had a chance to think it over. I was thinking about pageantry, pomp, and circumstance, showing my power to the whole world. But let's be honest, even if the whole world could compete in this tournament, you wouldn't really do much good. In the end, it's going to come down to me and everyone standing here at this moment. So let's keep this to a private affair, shall we? Don't worry. You'll know where to find me. You'll know where to send me out. So be ready in 12 days' time. With that, Cell would fly into the air along with her Cell Jr. As they left, the Z Fighters would now have to gather together to decide what they were going to do going forward. They had 12 days. At max, they could stay in the chamber for about 2 days if they wanted. That would get them roughly 2 years worth of training. With all of that taken into consideration, the schedule would be made as such. First, Goku, Diana, and Gohan would enter, followed by Raditz, Chi-Chi, and Chi-Dai. Then Trunks, then Piccolo. Vegeta, conveniently enough, would arrive soon after. And the scowls on everyone's face when they saw him, it told the mood that if the situation wasn't what it was, he would not be welcomed. Vegeta would look over to Trunks, who immediately averted his eyes, as he did the same. It didn't matter if they were blood related by DNA. As far as Vegeta was concerned, Trunks was no son of his. He didn't inherit the true heart of a Saiyan, but instead the heart of a human. Perhaps he was wrong when he betted his mother. But it was too late for that. The Ingrid already existed. And for Trunks, all that mattered was saving the future. He didn't give a damn about his father or what he wanted. He was tired. Tired of trying to seek his approval, his validation. Why did he need it from a man like him? Vegeta would have to go in last, but he didn't really care all that much, since he would just take up the remaining time for himself. though he would be disappointed to learn that at best he could only get 2 years. 2 measly years. Well, that was fine. He just wasn't going to waste his time. He damn sure wasn't going to waste it with that dead weight following behind him. And Trunks felt the same way. And with that, the Z-Fighters would begin their training regimens. In this sort of event, unlike in the original timeline, Goku would be more attentive to training with his son. He wouldn't be so harsh as to want to try to push him too far, but given the severity of everything that was at stake, and with this Goku being a little more different from his canon self, Goku would not be inclined to want to come out just before and not use the full allotted time that he had been given. Goku, Diana, and Gohan would spend their 2 years in the hyperbolic time chamber, with the main goal of getting Gohan up to par with his parents, and the trio working to improve their power together. Of course, Goku would be lying if he said he wasn't looking forward to the challenge, but now Goku had those flashbacks. He remembered that day on Namek, the day when Frieza killed his only son in front of him. Both Diana and Goku had always remembered that day. They'd never forgotten it. It was the driving force that wanted them to get better in every aspect, so that they'd never be that helpless ever again. But they never wanted Gohan to be in that situation either. And as such, his training would intensify as they pushed him to unlock Super Saiyan. And then for Goku and Gohan, while they would focus on achieving a power beyond Super Saiyan, Diana would focus her power on reaching it through raw talent and skill alone. Eventually, once the 2 days had passed, the doors to the chamber would open, as Goku, Gohan, and Diana would emerge. For Goku and for Gohan, their hair color was different. They looked like they were in their Super Saiyan form, but they weren't giving off any energy. And for Diana, her hair had changed as well. From its normal dark-hued black, a black as dark as a raven's feather. But now her hair was a bright and vibrant red, almost a shade of orange, if you will. But yet they looked to be maintaining these forms naturally. Even for someone like Vegeta, he was intrigued, wondering what exactly they had managed to do. Goku would give his regards to everyone, as he, along with his family, would take off. They were going to head home, to have a nice warm bath, a home-cooked meal, and to just spend time together. They had done everything that they could do, and now all they could do was wait. The other Z-Fighters would train in preparation as well, but there was also something else. Goku, Diana, and Gohan would visit the home of the Amazons, Themyscira, where the leader of the Amazons, Diana's mother, Hippolyta, would be waiting for them. She was happy to see her daughter and son-in-law, as well as her lovable grandson, Gohan, who had grown mightily in the last few years. "It is good to see you, Diana, and you as well, Gohan, and Goku. Hello, Mother. Can you feel it?" "Yes, I feel it coming from the east. A twisted corruption, an abomination to nature that has been formed. Truly, I wish to see the good in man, but sometimes I wonder. For what they are capable of doing, the things they can create, more often than not do more harm than good. But why have you come home, now of all times?" "I thought that maybe I could find something here. I wanted to let you all know of what was going to happen, to be prepared." As Goku and Diana would explain the situation at hand, Hippolyta would take everything in stride. Now knowing the severity of everything that was taking place, she would assemble the Amazonians and they would discuss this news. But there was also something else. Hippolyta felt like, given the circumstance, now was the time for Diana to learn the truth. Come with me, all of you. There's something that I wish for you to see. Together, they would walk across the island of Themyscira before eventually reaching a mountain. They would scale it, as they enjoyed light conversation and such. As they reached the top, eventually they would stand before a great tree. A tree that was interwoven with other trees, all of them connected to one. These trees all formed what appeared to be a great tent, a covering, if you will. And there they saw what appeared to be an altar, but that's not what it was. It was known as the place of miracles. It was where the birth of the Amazons took place. Do you remember, Diana? Remember? What should I remember? This is where you were born. Where I was born? Yes. I have never told you the story of the Amazons, our people. It's something that is passed down from generation to generation, from one queen to another. Of course, you are going to be that queen, but now that you have taken the path that you have, the title of queen I cannot give you. But all the same, I want you to know. You've been to Otherworld. You have even trained with a Kai. Yes, I have. King Kai himself. Do you know that there are more than 4 Kais? In fact, there used to be many of them. But they have faded away, their lives coming to an end, and now but a few of them remain in our world. What are you getting at, Mother? Long ago, when the universe was young, there was a Kai. Many have forgotten her name, but it was said that she was the Kai of love. And that one day she came to this world and she met a man of whom that she fell in love with. Despite being promised to many more of her own kind, she chose this human. Together they formed a bond, a union. And on Earth, they started a family. The female Kai in question gave birth to 100 children, 99 females, and the final child was a male boy. Together, they lived in harmony with one another, but eventually, the heart of one of her children became corrupted. The boy. Yes. No one's sure of why it happened. But the boy left the island. He went into the world of man and he became a warrior, king, a conqueror. He achieved great power, and soon he returned to the place of his birth to wage war. Against his sisters, the 99 Amazons stood. They fought against their brother and against his armies. Eventually, the fighting became so chaotic, so much blood was shed, and in the end, one daughter of the Kai remained. One daughter and one son. They fought. It was said that they fought for 12 days and 12 nights. But eventually, the final daughter bested her younger brother and killed him. When the mother returned, when she saw what had happened, she became heartbroken. But to avenge the souls of all of the others that were lost, she gave them Themyscira. Here, those 99 souls were rebirthed. And on this island, it would serve as a fortification, a place where her children could live on forever, away from the world of man. When an Amazon dies, her soul goes to the other world, yes, judged by King Yema. And eventually it is returned back to her homeland of Themyscira. That is why there has always been 99 of us. And why we have kept ourselves hidden. Why we were given the fountain of youth. It allows us a long lifespan, but it also provides the key. When a virgin maiden of the Amazons drinks from the fountain, it guarantees that she will be reborn here. And as I'm sure you are aware, Diana, when you chose to be with Son Goku, when you chose to form a union with him and to give birth to a child, you sacrificed that privilege. Meaning, when your life comes to an end naturally, you will not be reborn in Themyscira. But I was not the first. No. There was another Amazon before you and one before her, just as there was one before me and there will be one after me. The fountain of youth, it serves as a blessing and a curse to man and woman alike. For the Amazonians to drink from the fountain of youth, our cost is that we can never form a union with a man. For if we do, then we lose our power to be reborn here. We are cut off from that lineage. To you and every Amazonian that came before, you will be the last. Because now your bloodline will live not through you in your rebirth, but it will live through your offspring. And for the men who seek this power, who drink from this fountain, they too are robbed of something, of vitality. When a man drinks from the fountain, he does gain immortality, but it does not stop him from aging. And when he does, he can never bear a child. Through him, no life can come. Has any man done that? Wait, Roshi, Goku would say. Yes, Hippolyta said with a smile. I remember when Roshi first found our island. I was very weary of him. But he was quite charming. And I say that I found myself in a situation similar to you, Diana. But in the end, you made the decision that I could not. I could not leave my people. I was the queen. And for Roshi, he told me that if he could live in a world where I exist, then that was worth any sacrifice. So from then on, I allowed him to drink from the fountain, as he knew he could never have a child or a family of his own. That was the price we paid just to be able to share the same world together. why have you told me all of this, Mother? I tell you because there is a prophecy. A prophecy that tells that the battle between good and evil is not over. That the blood of the Amazons, that it will continue on in conflict. That a daughter and son of the Amazons will fight one more time. And I have reason to believe that your son may be a part of that prophecy. I wasn't sure if this would be it, if this is how it would come to pass. But now this being known as Cell, a being that took in an Amazon into its own form in flesh, now bears the form of Amazonians within it. And your son is half Amazonian. Perhaps this is not the prophecy coming to pass, but if it is, then I want you to know. I do not mean to scare you, Diana, Goku, Gohan. I just wanted you to know everything, to know where you stand in the precipice of time. Because through you, our people, our world, may know salvation. Diana and the others would thank Hippolyta for everything she had done. With the information that they knew, however, it changed nothing. Goku would assure Gohan, and Diana as well, that he didn't have to worry about a prophecy, because no matter what, they wouldn't be fighting alone. They would be fighting together. They were a family, and family sticks together no matter what. The other Z-Fighters would train in preparation as well. And 12 days later, off towards the east, an arena had been made, and standing perfectly still for 12 days and 12 nights, Cell in all of her glory. As the sun would begin to rise, Cell could feel it all through her. For all that time, Cell could only think of one thing, of one person. One person was on her mind. Because she felt something deep within herself, something that even her own programming could not fathom. An android created on logic and reasoning was now basing this feeling on faith. The faith that today her purpose would be realized. Because there was someone out there, the person she deemed to be her better half, the one person that could help her fulfill that purpose. Someone that Dr. Gero had never even taken into consideration. The one person that could give her what she needed. The one person that could finally help her realize her true meaning. She waited in anticipation, looking to the skies as the sun began to rise upon her. Will you be the one? Will you give me what I desire most? Something only you can do. My precious son Gohan. I know you feel it. You feel it within your bones. deep down in your soul. A purpose, something that has been written in the stars long before our births. And now, our futures lie before us. We must claim that future. Go on. Are you the one? Are you the one I've been searching for? And if so, make yourself known to me, or burn away in nothingness. This concludes Dragon Ball World's Strongest. What if Wonder Woman was in Dragon Ball? Part 21. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Dragon Ball World's Strongest. What if Wonder Woman was in Dragon Ball? Part 22. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.